Welcome back. As former President Trump's poll numbers continue to look better, the left is losing it over his surging support among the Hispanic community. After Trump sat down for an interview with Univision last week, the libs nearly exploded, and their media counterparts are trying to bully that network to return to anti-Trump, which is what the media is all supposed to be. As they have with most major corporations and major institutions in this country, that bullying continues. The left alluding that Trump forced Univision to cancel Biden campaign ads during the interview. From the Washington Post, the Democratic alarm further spiked 2 days later when Univision advertising representatives told the Biden campaign that spots already purchased to run during the Trump interview in Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida had been canceled. This turned into a whole big, horrifying, oh my God, the media's pro-Trump now thing on social media, and with a lot of these leftists that you hear all the time, is a fear tactic being used that Univision was in bed with Trump and the Trump campaign. It wasn't quite so. In fact, it was far more common. Biden ads removed just for the interview, which Univision claims is company policy. It is rather amazing, though, that the left freaks out when they don't have complete and total control over every single media establishment in this country. And when they don't have that control, somehow they still can't win a fair election. Go figure that out. Abraham Enriquez is the founder and president of Bienvenido News. Caroline Levitt is the spokeswoman for MAGA Inc. And good to have you both on. Caroline, the fear-mongering over Univision, I'm sure you saw it spinning up on Twitter. The idea was that Trump has forced Univision to not run any more Biden ads.
It's ridiculous, and it is a lie, because the left-wing media is panicking as they watch Joe Biden's numbers with Hispanic Americans crumbling. And if you want to know the real story here, look at where the money is being spent. Joe Biden's campaign is spending millions of dollars right now targeting Hispanic Americans. Why? Because they know they're losing them. He's losing ground with them in a big way. In fact, a recent survey from the Wall Street Journal showed that President Trump is winning 43% of the Hispanic American vote right now. That is an earth-shattering number for Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. And he's losing ground with this demographic, just like he's losing ground with every demographic, all Americans. It's for the same reasons. Hispanic Americans, just like all Americans, want a strong economy, good schools for their children. They want faith in the public square to be respected and not denigrated by our federal government. And they want strong borders. Many Hispanic Americans, their families came here legally, and the generational sacrifices that their families have made are being trampled on by Biden's open border policies.
Well said. Abraham, the Washington Post said that the interview between Trump and Univision was notable for its gracious tone, starting with a question about how well he's doing among Latino voters in early general election polling, which, to be fair, is probably the most interesting part about an interview with former President Trump with a Latino news network. It's funny, the outrage over just that, because they can't believe that they didn't start off with a question about Russia collusion, I assume.
Yeah, I think they learned their lesson, Rob, and I agree with everything that Caroline said. But the thing is, the Democrats should be panicking at this point, because if you look at the numbers, Democrats lead Republicans with Spanish-speaking voters by about 30 points, and 22% of Spanish-speaking voters said they've been open to conservative ideas over the past 5 years. Yeah. And you look at Biden polling in the low 40s, which is historic for a sitting Democrat incumbent president. Right. It puts some fear into the Democrats for sure.
Yeah, and Abraham, I want to stay with you for 1 second. I want to show these polls from CNN, New York Times. Trump's Latino support is very, very impressive. You're getting close to half, and these are left-leaning polls. I usually add a few points to any poll I see from the Times or from CNN. But, I speak to the idea. I mean, there's a lot of Latinos in this country. They know a lot more about socialism and how it comes to a country. They know a lot more about socialism than these mindless white liberals that read about it, 30 years ago in school. These people can smell it coming, and the current present-day Democrat Party reeks of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important to note that Hispanics, the number one issue that we care about is not immigration like the left talks about, or gender ideology like the left likes to push Latinx on us. It's the economy. And you look at from September to October, Hispanics were up by 5%, made up 5% of the unemployment. There were 45,000 Hispanics unemployed in October than September. That's Bidenomics. Bidenomics is truly crushing the American dream. And the fact that President Trump is polling 46% with Hispanic voters should have Joe Biden definitely very scared. You look at Maricopa County, Arizona, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, Clark County, Nevada. These are heavily Hispanic populated swing districts. If President Trump can just get a little over 40% in these districts, it's game over. We have an election. We will have an election season. We will know our president that same night.
Yeah, that is something else. Caroline, you know, politically, we're looking at what they're doing in the southern border. I think most of us can understand that they're playing a long game here. They're trying to pack what they think is going to be a voting base into this country so that they can win perpetually in the future. These numbers work against everything that they've been doing at the southern border for the last 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And as he noted, you know, Hispanic Americans, many of them live in Arizona. They live in Texas. They see the consequences of Biden open border policies in their own backyards and their ranches, on their farms. And when it comes to the economy, let's not forget, under President Trump, Hispanic American unemployment was at an all-time low. So just like every other demographic, these folks they remember what their lives were like under President Trump. And it was a heck of a lot better than it is now under Joe Biden.
That's true. Caroline, Abraham, good to see you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Former President Trump's legal team